Hello, Incredible Moms. This is Crystal Evaristo with the Incredible Moms podcast, where we discuss getting pregnant, being pregnant, having babies, being a mom, and so much more. We hope you enjoy the show. Hello.
Hello, I am Tabitha, and I am a mom to one child, Silas. He is 17 months old. Me and my boyfriend at the time, Christian, he was my middle school sweetheart. We had some here and there's throughout our years, and we found our way back to each other. And shortly after we were together, we decided that we wanted to try to have a child. I was on depot shop for many years. It took me a while to get pregnant. It took us a year and a half.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So a lot longer than I expected. We were almost to the point where we were going to go to the doctor and see if something was going on. But I found out on Labor Day. Well, I told him on Labor Day. The day before, I found out we had a trip coming up. We were going on a cruise, which I was thinking I was going to maybe get proposed to, which I did. Of course, I was pregnant when we're on a cruise, but it was still it was still fun. And then, of course, everybody says, "Oh, you guys are getting married because you're pregnant." Da 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 da. But it was perfect. It was still fun, and we ended up getting married this past summer in July, actually.
Oh, nice. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. My pregnancy was pretty smooth. We were living in Greenville at the time, and we sold our house towards the end of my pregnancy, and we were looking to move towards Clayton. My husband works in Clayton, but we ended up in Goldsboro.
Is that where you had your baby? Because I used to work at Vidant in Greenville.
Yes. Well, actually, no. But that is, I guess, where I got my aftercare.
Oh, okay.
I had my baby actually in the car.
Oh, yeah. You told me that.
On the way to Vidant. Yeah. So we sold our house, and then I was probably about 32 or 33 weeks. And we hadn't quite found a new house yet. So we bought a camper, and we stayed in an RV park in Selma. And that was interesting. We stayed in a little camper. We have 3 big dogs. And so it's me pregnant with 3 big dogs. There was a dog park there, so that made it easier. But I had to walk the dogs across the campground, take them out. Now I was taking them one at a time because towards the end of my pregnancy, I had some, my sciatic nerve was being pinched. It was not comfortable, but my dogs had to go out. So it was more than I'm used to. They weren't that great walking on a leash either because we had always had a backyard. That was fun. And they seen the golf carts riding around, and they were not a big fan. But since I had moved so late in my pregnancy, I didn't want to change doctors. I figured it'd be fine. You know, it was about an hour away from where we were staying at to the hospital. And
from Goldsboro to Greenville?
Oh, no. From Smith. Well, that is an hour away, but I was actually in Selma in the...
Oh, right. Sorry.
No, you're fine. So I was in Selma in the RV. We were still waiting to close on our house, and there was a lot of problems with the house. And we actually didn't end up moving until my son was 4 months old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, just me, little infant, and our 3 giant dogs, and my husband in a little RV. But we made it work. I mean, it was not great, but we made it work. My dogs love the baby. So I had an appointment to go get induced, actually. I was 40 weeks and 4 days. I had an appointment to go plan an induction date, and that was the day that I gave birth to my son.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I woke up at probably about 6 o'clock that morning, and I just was feeling like I had to take a poop. And I could not. So I don't know if my midwife did not tell me this or what, but I did not know that, hello, you are in labor.
You didn't feel contractions, like any cramping coming and going or anything?
I did feel some contractions, but they were very light. And I was thinking I was probably, in labor, but not to the point where I needed to go to the hospital yet. I was going to just wait for my doctor's appointment, which was at 10 o'clock. Because, everybody says, it was my first baby, and I didn't know exactly what to be looking for. I could talk to my contractions and walk through them. And it turns out my pain tolerance is pretty high.
I guess so.
So, and then it was probably about 7 o'clock. My water broke. I'm not sure if I was leaking or what was going on because I was still kind of unsure because it kind of felt like I just peed on myself. It was just a very small wet spot about the size of maybe a $50.
Yeah, like you just like sprung a leak. Basically.
Yeah, so I thought that, your water breaks is going to be a big gush, but I'd never had that. So I'm having my contractions and stuff in our little small camper. And my dogs are like trying to comfort me, like, what's going on? My husband's like, I think it's time that we go to the hospital. I was like, no, we're just going to wait. I have to go to the doctor at 10. We have plenty of time. It's my first baby. I'm going to be in labor probably all day. It's fine. No, it was not fine. So we have the dogs, so we have to take them. We know we're going to be gone for a while, so of course we have to take them out before we go. He walks the dogs over there. I was like, well, I want to go too. And I drive the car over there. The dogs are doing their business, and then he goes to walk them back, and I was going to drive the car back, and we were going to switch seats, and then he was going to drive me to the hospital. I call him, though, and I'm like, have my hands on the hood of the car. I'm having terrible contractions. I cannot get into the car.
Oh, jeez.
And I'm like, I call him, I'm like, you're going to need to like come over here and get me because there is no way. Like, the baby, I was like, I am in labor. Like, these contractions are terrible. And he's running across the campground with like all the bags. It's just like a sight that's like imprinted in my mind because he was so fast and just running over there. And we're driving, and on the way there, I call my doctor's office, and I tell them, like, I'm not going to be able to make it to my appointment today. I'm actually on the way to the hospital right now. I'm in labor. And they get my midwife on the phone, and she says, don't worry, you're going to be fine. I'm going to meet you at the hospital. Everything's fine. And then my contractions start getting really bad. And see, looking back on it, I'm pretty sure this is me crowning.
Oh, jeez.
So when
how far into the ride you were taking?
We were probably about halfway.
Okay.
So probably about 30 minutes into the ride. And I remember looking at Christian and I'm just like, I do not think that I can do this. Like, I'm scared. Like, I have a choice. Like, I have to do this. And I'm just grabbing onto the handle on the side of the car with each contraction, like the little handle on the side to hold on to. And I always say that makes a new, I have a whole new name for it, oh shit handle.
Right.
For sure.
I've heard it's been called that, but not for labor. It's like the oh shit handle when your husband's driving like an idiot or something or whatever.
And also he was kind of driving like an idiot because I knew that like the labor was bad. So he's got like the flashers on and he's speeding.
Oh, jeez.
We're just like trying to make it to the hospital. I'm like, I look at him when he's driving, like people are letting us pass. Like there's red lights. We're like right then coming into Greenville where there's all those stoplights.
Mm-hmm.
They're just letting him pass right on through. And I look at him like, and I was like, the baby is coming. He was like, we're going to be in the hospital in like 3 minutes. I'm like, and I just pulled down my pants and I just delivered my baby.
Just falls right out. You didn't even push.
Yeah. I probably did like one push and then I'm like, but like I said, I think I was crowning and pushing the whole time with like, not even really meaning to, but like my body was like, you are getting this baby out.
Right.
And so we pull up and I have the baby right at the stoplight, like right before the hospital.
Oh God.
And we pull in and he runs in there and he's like telling everybody like, I need a doctor right now. Like my wife just had a baby and like nobody's paying him any attention. He said he talked to like 3 or 4 different people and then he runs, it gets to like the offices and then everybody comes out. They push, I don't know what the button is called.
It's like the bat phone. They call this phone and they say like, baby in the lobby or something like that. And everyone comes running usually.
Yeah. But so next thing I know, he comes out, he runs out to me and he takes a picture, which I will send you that picture because it's so cute.
Yes.
And I like have my seatbelt on and I'm holding Silas and he's 3 minutes old.
Your seatbelt was on.
Yeah, my seatbelt was on. I was not dealing with that beeping noise. Okay. So my seatbelt's on and I have him and luckily Christian did look down and see what time it was when he was born because I had no idea. So he was born at 9:03. Oh. And all those people, there's like probably 30 doctors or nurses and everybody just out there. And he comes out, takes the picture before they get to me. My midwife comes. She cuts the cord because I haven't delivered my placenta. Mm-hmm. So she cuts the umbilical cord. They get me up into a room. Christian stays out and while I'm delivering my placenta and cleans my car. So luckily I had a leather seat. So
good.
So that was good. It wasn't but so messy.
Who was your midwife?
Frida.
Oh, Frida. She's awesome. She's my favorite.
Yeah. Yeah.
She probably didn't even faze her. She's like, oh, great. You had a baby. Yay.
I was like, Frida, you told me I had plenty of time. She did not tell me the truth. She was like, well, it's great. Like, you're doing great.
That's awesome.
But yeah, she was good. I seen her a few times. I was going to, I think it was Greenville OBGYN where I was getting my practice. So I seen a lot of the midwives there. I seen her a few times and I did like her. I didn't get to talk to her that much. Like I said, she delivered my placenta and then pretty much I was good to go. And it was right at the beginning of COVID. So then, of course, they wanted everybody to get a COVID test when you first went into like labor. Right. So they're trying to decide, since I'm already there, like, do I get a COVID test or not? And so I'm like freaking out because it was scary being pregnant. And then you hear about people's babies getting taken away from them. And I felt like I didn't feel sick, but the last thing I want is them to tell me I have COVID. And they're taking my baby away from me. They test me for COVID. The first time I like grabbed it with a reflex out of the girl's hand. So that was fun. I got to do it a second time and I sat on my hands.
I know the ones they do there are pretty, they go way back with them. It's painful.
Yeah. And like, I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I did not mean to do that. Let me just sit on my hands. But I felt like you're kind of like trying to tickle my brain at this point.
Yeah.
I was in labor and delivery, and the nurses that I had, they were really sweet and nice to me. And then after that, I went up to the postpartum. I don't really know
like mother baby postpartum.
Yeah. So then I went up there, and the nurses were not the best when I was up there. I feel like they just kind of ignored me. They were like, "You had a baby by yourself, so."
Like you were pro at that point, probably.
Yeah, I'm like, this is still my first baby. I don't know what's going on. But everything was fine. Silas was completely healthy. After I got him out, I just, I turned him around and he looked at me and cried. And I was like, okay, awesome.
Oh.
You're healthy. He was fine. Thank goodness nothing was wrong. I had a 1st-degree tear, but it wasn't bad. I didn't have to get stitches or anything. I had an easy pregnancy. And it was a crazy delivery, but it was easy.
That doesn't get much easier than that, honestly.
Yeah, it was an interesting story, but it was awesome. There is really nothing like just grabbing your own baby out of you.
Right? So were you like, that this is like getting into way too many details probably, but like, were you still in the seatbelt, like just kind of like lift your butt up and the baby came out? Like, what did you do?
Yeah, okay, so like, yeah, I was in the seatbelt and I kind of like lift my butt up and I pull down my pants, like I'm wearing leggings and like pull them down like to my ankles. And then I like did one push and I get them out.
Wow.
Just looking and
you guys better be careful if you have another baby.
I know. So I'm actually pregnant right now.
Oh, congratulations.
Oh, thank you. I'm about 7 weeks.
Okay.
So it's still super early, but I'm just everybody's like, I bet you're hoping for a girl this time. And I'm like, I'm just hoping to make it to the hospital.
Well, I'm hoping you go like to Wake Med or something.
Yeah.
Or somewhere closer at least.
Yeah. So I'm just like, at this point, like the first contraction, I don't care. You can send me home. I had a contraction. I'm going to the hospital. Yeah. You're going to be like, I'm sorry, you're having breath 6. And I'm like, well, look, if you knew my story, you would understand.
Exactly.
Like I will not wait at all. I was just so shocked at my first birth just being so short.
Yeah, that's really unheard of. It's funny because like even this past weekend we had 2 people come in, 6 centimeters and 7 centimeters, first time moms, and like we were all like, what the heck is going on? Because it's so unheard of.
Yeah, I'm glad it was quick. I had planned on getting an epidural. I was terrified of giving birth, but next time, like, I'm not going to because I'm like, I can do it. And it was so fast. I probably don't even have time to get one if I wanted one.
Right. Now you know how it feels. It's like, that's it. I can handle that.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. It hurt. It was definitely the worst pain I've ever been in. But, the woman's body is crazy. what we can do as women.
Right.
And I'm excited about this new baby. And I don't know. It's a girl, I think, because I just feel so sick and just so different with Silas. But I know that doesn't mean anything because every pregnancy is different.
Yeah,
but,
that's true.
But I don't know. I was right about him as soon as I was pregnant with Silas. I just knew that he was a boy, and he was. And I knew like both times, like probably like 2 weeks after I was pregnant. So pretty intuitive. We'll see.
So did you have a good like postpartum experience and all that? Or
so my postpartum experience was pretty good. I mean, it was, I wouldn't say 100% amazing because I was learning how to be a mom. And I mean, Silas, I breastfed and he latched good and all that was good. But then he went through a time like the witching hour when he would just cry for like 3 hours at night. And that was not fun. And I wanted to rip my hair out. And it was really hard with me and Christian because we're both like sleep deprived.
Right.
And we're trying to take care of this baby. But it was other than that, it was a pretty good experience. It was like rough living in the camper though, because I still had to take the dogs out. Christian was at work. He did stay for 3 days with me.
Oh, geez, that stinks.
Yeah, he stayed with me for only 3 days, and he had to get back to work. So, you know, I had to like walk the dogs, and I felt bad because I did not walk them as much as I should.
Please tell me you have a fenced-in yard now, or something.
Yes, I do have a fenced-in yard.
That must be nice.
Yeah. So as soon as we moved to this house, I was like, we need a fence up, okay? But I got through it. Living in that camper was not fun, but we all got through it as a family, and it ended up fine. And once we moved to the new house, it was a little bit more easier to breathe.
Right.
I love my dogs, and like they've always were my babies before I had a baby, you know?
Yeah.
But when I came home, I was like, leave me alone. Get off me. Go away.
I hear that. When we first had our first one, we had a little miniature pincher and he was my baby. And then I was like, you are disgusting. Stop stealing the diapers. Like, stop.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Sometimes one of my dogs, she'll like go in the trash can and get a diaper. And I'm like, ew. I'm like, why are you eating a diaper? I don't even don't kiss me and just stay away from me. But they were like, when I would walk them over to the park though, and Silas is just a little infant, I would have him in his stroller and they would like, one of my dogs, she would stop and like put her little paws up on the stroller and make sure he was okay. Like every couple of feet. So it was sweet though.
Yeah.
They were really sweet.
So what about the postpartum nurses? Like you said, they kind of like ignored you. Like what do you think that they could have? I mean, obviously we know what they could have done better, but like anything like specific?
I just feel like when I tried to talk to them, they just really like cut it short with me. Okay. And they didn't really. I didn't see them that much when I had to, when I was asking for like different things, like more like cooling pads or something to like drink or whatever. It just took a really long time, and they just seemed very annoyed by that. And another thing that I did not understand, that I wish that, I don't know if this is the nurses that need to tell me this or a doctor or who, but I didn't understand that I had my baby in the car. So that's considered a home birth. So I needed to fill out all this paperwork to get a birth certificate for my child.
Oh.
Which I didn't know any of that. So when I called to see about getting a birth certificate and ordering one, they were like, you know, what hospital did you deliver at? And then I told them Biden. They're like, are you sure? And I was like, well, actually, I didn't deliver there, you know, and then that's one of the whole thing. They're like, oh, you need to fill out all this paperwork, 20 billion questions. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I wish I would have known that.
Yeah. That's a little weird too. It's not like you just brought a random baby like with you. Like he was still attached to the cord that was inside of you. So I don't know. It's weird. Yeah.
And actually when I first pulled up, they tried to immediately put me on the gurney and like take Frida tried to take the baby. And I was like, Frida, this baby's attached to me. we gotta cut this. Like,
yeah. No. That's funny. I like right before my last, like I think it was my last shift, I had a delivery in triage with Frida, and it was, this girl had showed up like, I don't know, 9.5 centimeters and ready to have a baby, and it was just such a nice delivery, and she's just so chill. She's just like, all right, yeah, let's have a baby. Like she doesn't even care.
Yeah. And it's crazy because actually my sister-in-law, she was delivered by Frida.
Oh, wow.
And then her sister, she's actually pregnant right now too. And Frida's her midwife. So I'm like, I guess you're just like our family midwife.
Right.
So.
I know, hopefully for the delivery, because you never know, you get like one of the other ones or whatever.
Yeah. I don't know what I'll do for this delivery. Like, I always thought that it was maybe like cool to maybe do a home birth, like the pool births.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Because it went so easy last time. So like I know I could handle it.
Right.
But then I always get scared of the what ifs.
Right.
You know, because anything could happen. Like, and I would hate to like put my baby in danger.
Yeah. I mean, I have friends, and I know people who have done just like it on their own, but I definitely think that like a midwife, like a home birth midwife, is definitely essential. Because they can help you with what ifs, you know.
Yeah. If I did it, I would definitely have to get a home birth midwife because I wouldn't want it just to be me.
Yeah.
Like, I know that I like physically could do it. Like I've done it before. I could do it by myself, I guess. But, you know, you never know.
Yeah. One of the episodes I have on here, I did with a midwife from New York. And she was like great. Like she kind of like explained like everything and kind of like you get like a home birth like kit that you'd have delivered to your house. Like it's pretty straightforward. And usually if you have a good like backup plan, like it helps too, you know.
Okay. Yeah. I haven't really looked into it much. I just always seen it. That's kind of cool, but I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm curious about this next birth. Like if it's going to be faster, I don't know. They say it's faster, but I don't know if that's actually a factor.
Second babies are usually pretty quick. Third babies, they're kind of hit or miss, but second babies were like, oh, this person's, you know, we call it a G-tube, you know, or a multip. And usually usually goes quicker, but then, you know, all this talk about you probably jinx yourself and have like a 2-day induction. So you never know. I mean, God forbid, but
yeah. But I will say I'm happy because when I was supposed to be, you know, I was supposed to have my appointment at 10 o'clock that day, but he was born at 9 and they were going to talk about inducing me and they were going to do it with the Folly bulb. And I was scared about that. So I'm glad. Yeah, so I'm glad that I didn't have to go through that. I was just amazed at, honestly, how it wasn't that bad. Like, I don't know. It was crazy.
Yeah.
I always thought, like, I'm the type of person that gets a pap smear and is like, this hurts.
You can't handle a cervical check, but then you just have a baby in the
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's why when I knew how it was with that, so I was like, I'm going to definitely need that epidural.
Right. Well, that's like such a quick story, but I mean, all the details are in it too. So,
yeah, I know. It was an easy pregnancy, but it was a fun story. And I mean, not everybody can tell it. So I figured, why not? Yeah.
I haven't had a car birth story yet, so this is awesome. Alrighty. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. And have a good night.
Okay, you too. I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to this incredible mom story today. I really hope you enjoyed it and that it may have helped you in some way. Make sure you rate and leave a comment so I can be sure to bring you the content that you really want. Please follow the Incredible Moms podcast on Instagram, where you'll also be able to find many updates and episodes. I can't tell you how much I appreciate any support. Stay tuned for another Incredible Mom next week.